Golden Age Hollywood. Glittering red carpets, dazzling films, and unforgettable stars. But behind the curtain, things were nothing like they appeared. Many legendary names were forced to hide their real identities, their pasts, and who they truly were. This video reveals the real identities hidden by stars from Cary Grant to Marilyn Monroe, the fake images created by studios, and the shocking secrets behind Hollywood's curtain. Get ready. We're uncovering the truths behind the false glitter. Cary Grant, the Hollywood legend who hid his real name, Cary Grant, is remembered as a world-class star and one of the most iconic actors of the Golden Age. However, behind the curtain was a little-known secret. Cary Grant was actually born Archibald Leach. This name was sufficient for an ordinary child in England, but it was impossible to shine with this name in Hollywood's magnificent world. MGM Studios changed the young Leach's name and created a perfect stage identity for him. But it wasn't just his name that had to be hidden. His past had to be concealed as well. Grant's early life was spent in poverty with an ordinary English family. These details didn't fit Hollywood's glittering legend narrative. Even in interviews with the press early in his career, he would politely sidestep questions about his own past. Cary Grant's fake identity wasn't just a name change. As a whole, with his character, behavior, and appearance, he conformed to the ideal male image that Hollywood had created. People saw him only as a charismatic, handsome, and talented actor. The secret behind the scenes emerged years later thanks to biographies and archival documents. Grant's story shows just how controlled and built on false glitter Golden Age Hollywood was. The career he built by hiding his real name is still discussed as one of cinema history's most impressive masks. Rita Hayworth, the beauty's hidden true identity. Rita Hayworth was known as one of the biggest female stars of the 1940s and 1950s. Her red hair, captivating gaze, and enchanting stage presence made her a symbol of Hollywood. But Hayworth was actually born Margarita Carmen Canzina. This true identity prevented Hollywood studios from shaping her image as they wished. MGM wanted to Americanize her and present her with a more red carpet-friendly name. Studios didn't just change her name, they also tried to hide her ethnic background and family history. Rita came from a Spanish and Italian heritage family, but these details were almost never mentioned in her films and publicity. MGM changed her hair color, redesigned her makeup, and formalized her name as Rita Hayworth. Thus, the whole world saw her only as one of Hollywood's glittering icons. But behind the curtain was a young woman struggling with her own identity. Hayworth had to adapt to her fake identity. Her career, appearance, and even behavior were shaped around this artificial persona. Today, as her real name appears in biographies and old interviews, Rita Hayworth's story reveals Hollywood's expertise in creating identity and the personal cost of this process. Judy Garland, the innocent icon's hidden identity. Judy Garland was one of the most beloved and talented stars of the 1930s and 1940s, became a worldwide icon through her role as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. But behind the curtain, her life was far less innocent. Judy Garland was actually born Frances Ethelgum. MGM Studios changed young Garland's name to make her a symbol of the American dream and marketed her with a fake image. This wasn't just a name change. Garland's hair color, makeup style, and even behavior were directed by the studio. MGM managed her personality and lifestyle, controlling even the smallest mistake or rebellion meticulously. Garland found herself alone with her fake identity at a young age. She was forced to hide her true self. This process exhausted her both psychologically and emotionally. Yet the public saw her only as a talented and brilliant star. Garland's story exposes how comprehensively Hollywood controlled young stars and how real identities were erased. Lana Turner, the true identity. Behind the glitter, Lana Turner was one of the most striking stars of Golden Age Hollywood in the 1940s. She was known in front of the curtain as a captivating, elegant, and flawless woman, but she was actually born Julia Jean Turner. MGM Studios changed young Lana's name to make her more American and more marketable. Studios didn't just change her name, they also shaped her appearance and behavior. Her hair color, makeup style, and posture in photo shoots were carefully managed. Turner's real identity, her private life, and her personality were often completely overlooked. However, behind the curtain, Turner had to find her own identity and deal with the image imposed by the studio. Like many stars of Golden Age Hollywood, she too was known by a fake persona, while the public saw only the perfect. Star Lana Turner's story reveals the drama of real, Identities hidden behind the glittering face of Golden Age. Hollywood. Marilyn Monroe. Golden face and fake identity. Marilyn Monroe is known as one of the most famous icons in cinema history. With her golden blonde hair, captivating smile, and seductive charm, she became legendary. But her real name was Norma Jean Mortensen. Growing up in an orphanage at a young age, Norma Jean was reborn as Monroe in Hollywood's Dream Factory. Studios didn't just change her name, they also rewrote her appearance, behavior, and even her past. When Marilyn's charm merged with her fake identity and the studio-created persona, a worldwide phenomenon emerged. But behind the curtain was a young woman struggling with her own real identity. Monroe's story, as a striking example of how Hollywood manipulated young stars and overshadowed their true selves, went down in history. The glittering face of Golden Age. Hollywood was often supported by such painful and mysterious reality. Elizabeth Taylor, a fake identity. As brilliant as jewels, Elizabeth Taylor is remembered as one of cinema's legendary beauties. With her striking violet eyes, brilliant hair, and stage presence, she was a shining star in Hollywood's Golden Age. However, behind the curtain, Taylor's identity was also carefully shaped by studios. Elizabeth was originally born Elizabeth Rosamond Taylor, but studios rearranged certain details for her to gain a persona suitable for the American dream. Her name, appearance, posture, and photographs, the life story she told in interviews. All of it was part of a partially fake narrative. Taylor had to both embrace this fake identity and remain a perfect star in the public's eyes. Her relationships, marriages, and social circles in private life became a stage of a play that the public didn't see and that studios managed. Each interview, each gala, was an opportunity to reinforce Taylor's fake persona. And today, her story is not just the glitter of a star, but also proof of Golden Age Hollywood's mastery of identity creation and manipulation. Ava Gardner, the mask of a passionate woman. Ava Gardner is known as one of Hollywood's charismatic and rebellious female stars. However, Ava was actually born Ava Lavinia Gardner and was heavily Americanized by MGM Studios at the beginning of her career. Her name wasn't just changed. Her appearance, hair color, and behavior were also shaped by the studio. During Hollywood's Golden Age, Gardner filled the headlines with both her talents and her passions. But behind the curtain, she experienced the difficulties of existing with a fake identity, having to hide her real origins, having to meet the expectations of the public and the studio. Gardner's love life and scandals were also carefully managed by the studio. Her relationships were hidden or distorted from the public's view. This limited both Gardner's charm and her freedom. As a result, Ava Gardner became not just a star, but also an icon carrying the glitter of Golden Age Hollywood with a fake identity. Debbie Reynolds, innocent appearance. Hidden identity. Debbie Reynolds was one of the most beloved young stars of American cinema. However, her real name was Mary Frances Reynolds. Hollywood studios changed Reynolds' name to make her more marketable and suitable for public taste. Reynolds, who began her career with a fake identity at a young age, had to carry not just a different name, but the image created by the studio through her appearance, hair color, and posture. Behind the curtain, she tried to maintain a balance between her true self and her stage identity. Reynolds' love life, on-set relationships, and the gossip that occurred in Hollywood's corridors represented a world that the public couldn't see. Like many young stars of that time, Reynolds too was a Golden Age icon, shining with a fake identity. This situation had profound effects on both her career and her personal life. Greta Garbo, the mysterious icon's hidden identity. Greta Garbo is remembered as one of Hollywood's most mysterious and influential stars. But Garbo was actually born Greta Luvisa. She had to reshape her name, appearance, and even her social background for Hollywood. MGM Studios aimed to create both the exotic air she brought from Europe and an image suitable for the American dream. Garbo's silent, mysterious demeanor and stage presence were entirely a persona controlled by the studio. Behind the curtain, Garbo had to draw a line between her true identity and the glittering face the public saw. Her love life, private life, and relationships were mostly kept secret. For this reason, Garbo's story reveals not just the glittering face of Golden Age Hollywood, but also the dark side of created fake identities and manipulation. Katharine Hepburn, a strong woman and a hidden truth, Katharine Hepburn became a symbol of Golden Age Hollywood as a strong, independent, and intelligent female figure. However, Hepburn was born Katharine Houghton Hepburn and was directed toward a certain image by studios at the beginning of her career. Hepburn's voice, posture, and manner were shaped in the public's eyes as a strong star. But behind the curtain, she had to constantly maintain a balance between her true self and her private life. And this image, Hepburn managed to keep her love life and personal preferences away from the public eye. But studios continued to manage her image. Although she didn't have to use a fake identity, she had to regulate her behavior to meet public expectations and maintain her career. Hepburn's story went down in history as a striking example of how Hollywood directed strong women while it was creating them and how it shaped their identities. Here are the most shocking truths behind Golden Age, Hollywood's curtain. While stars shone on stage, they were forced to hide their own identities, conform to the images created by studios, and meet public expectations. Cary Grant, being born as Archibald Leach and becoming a worldwide legend, Marilyn Monroe transforming from Norma Jean into an iconic symbol, Rita Hayworth evolving from Margarita Canzino into an American icon. All of them are stories of fake identities. This situation reveals just how deep the manipulations and personal costs were behind the glittering face of Golden Age Hollywood. Real names, pasts, and stories often remained hidden, but today, it's possible to expose these secrets. These stars didn't just shine with their fake identities, they also symbolized Hollywood's mastery of identity creation. If these stories have interested you, continue to discover the unknown faces of Golden Age Hollywood. Tour of a Star, but also proof of Golden Age Hollywood's mastery of identity creation and manipulation.